So now that our MP3 and all of our images have been added, we're going to actually take each one of these images and rearrange them, and we're also going to set the timing, and then we're going to work on pans and zooms. So I know in particular the order of these images, and you'll know the order of these images too. Now, to make this a little easier on yourself, you could always number your images in your file, and then they'll come in the correct order. But I know the image order here, so I'm going to pull these. Now, all you have to do is click, left click, and then drag it, and it pulls that piece over in the timeline. So you can see here, here's our timeline. And if we hit play, our playhead goes directly over.
And let us not forget Henry David Thoreau, whom any
And if we get near where the next piece comes in, you can see here's Henry David Thoreau's face, but then there's a picture of this busy street.
Simplify,
if you click,
simplify,
you see
Thoreau
that there's a
counseled
crossfade
over
that goes
a century
directly
ago.
into it. So to manipulate these, we just move these around. Click, left click, and drag them where we want them to be, and then each one of these images will appear on the timeline in the correct order. So as it stands right now, I know that that we end with the blue, that the green path is second to last, and this is the order that the images go in. So we have our order how we want them. However, it does not reflect the timing of the piece. I want Henry David Thoreau's face to fade maybe earlier or later. And the best way to do this is to either mark it down when you listen to it, your final piece in the audio format, mark it down the time that it would be ending or beginning, and you can see that there's a time scale here. So if you mark down that Henry David Thoreau's face would disappear at 10 seconds, all you have to do is hover, and you see I get the little hand, the pointer there. When I hover, all I have to do is left click, and I can drag this piece back and forth. So if I think 10 seconds is where Henry David Thoreau's face changes, all I have to do is just hit play.
Of simple living must consider. Simplify, simplify, Thoreau counseled over a century ago. Although his motivation was not.
So you're going to be setting the time for each one of these images based on your story. So when the image needs to change, you'll move this slider over to that point, and it will change.
Religious. It
when
was
you play
nevertheless.
So now let's talk quickly about pans and zooms. This doesn't have very much visual interest. As you can see, nothing's happening at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here, and then we're going to make this go side to side. So how do we do that? So the first thing we need to do is go to slide info. Once we get to slide info, we could put some sort of caption in here if we need to. It's telling me right now that the end point of this slide, the beginning of this slide, is at 10:03. And that's exactly when it comes in. Now, if I wanted to move it, I could move it to, say, 12, and it would move this piece here to 12, and we'll do that right now. Hit apply, and as you can see, it moved it over. You can fiddle with them that way, or you can just do it by clicking on it and then dragging it. So this is the slide that I actually want to move here, this one here. So I'm going to the next slide here, going to this slide here, which is the street scene. If I click on movement, I can see that there's two different windows that pop up. The first one is what it looks like when it starts. And what I said earlier is I would like it to, when it starts, be zoomed in. Now, as I zoom in, you can see, and when I clicked off, you could see that half the picture is gone now. So in this, I need to make sure that I'm centering it as best I can and zooming in as best I can. So here we go. We've zoomed in nice and tight into this piece. Now, what do we want it to look like when we're done? We want to zoom in as well, just like we did before, but we want to put it at the end here so that it looks like it has gone all the way across, almost as if a camera were panning as it zoomed all the way across. So let's see what this looks like when we play it.
It was, nevertheless, an attempt to get at the essence of living, to clear the smoke which obscures it.
So as you can see, this keeps panning as we go across. So how did I do that? All I did was I made this look how I want it to look. When I started, by using this slider to zoom it in and out to affect the zoom, and by manipulating the image in here to make it pan. So I put it at one edge to start the pan, that's where it starts, and one edge to end the pan, and that's where it ends. And each image will have
Quiet
this nice
desperation.
little pan if we put it in
Thoreau
there.
takes
The next one, we can just do a very simple start with a normal look, a normal sort of zoomed out look, and then maybe let's zoom into this tree. So let's see what it looks like when we're done.
Thoreau takes most of his book, Walden, to examine life and search for the truth of this statement.
So as you can see, all you need to do is make sure that it looks like something when it's like how it looks how you want it when it starts, and it looks how you want it when it ends, and the computer will do all of the in-between work for you.